Hi DVC fan, Paul and Amy here, and we're really excited to show you the elusive and rare corner/alternative studio located at Copper Creek at Disney's Wilderness Lodge. All of our content is brought to you by the world of DVC Resale Market, where you can buy and sell the perfect Copper Creek contract. Monero Financial, who can help you finance that contract. The DVC Rental Store, where you can try before you buy or rent out your unused points. And don't forget about our discounted tickets, unlockedmagic.com/DVCfan. Copper Creek is undergoing a soft goods refurbishment, and by the time you see this video, they're probably going to be very close to getting done. And what a soft goods refurbishment means is that the soft items like couches and bedding, usually rugs or carpeting, upholstery, are switched out. So some of the things like the tile and the kitchen, those will remain the same. For this refurbishment, it didn't really need a whole lot. Copper Creek looked really great to begin with, but we did get the addition of the Murphy bed along with some nice soft good changes. Let's talk points for a deluxe studio at Copper Creek, whether you end up with a normal studio or the cool alternative studio. We are in the middle of July on a Thursday. We paid 17 points for tonight. You can get this room for as low as 13 points, but it does go as high as 28. All right, let's talk about what this alternative studio is and why it's so rare. So Copper Creek Villas has two different studio designations when you book. One is just called regular deluxe studio, and the other is deluxe studio with a walk-in shower. If you choose deluxe studio with a walk-in shower, you're gonna end up with probably a normal size studio that has a shower and is on floors probably 2 and up. If you choose the regular deluxe studio, that has a bathtub shower combo. Now, 90-something% of those are actually all on the first floor. So if you do book the regular deluxe studio, the odds are going to be that you are on the first floor. We've been on the first floor many times in those studios, and they're just normal. But on every single floor, and I believe there's also 2 on the first floor, but 1 on floors 2 through 6, there is one alternative special studio. It is on the corner, so it has a unique shape that allows it to have kind of its own little living space and then a bedroom space. So it's larger, it gets requested a whole lot, so it is very hard to get. We just lucked out and ended up with it. So we're excited to show it to you. We're starting this tour in the hallway because when you have an alternative studio, the layout is a little different. We have a very long hallway to begin with, leading over into our first closet space. Inside this closet is going to be a little bigger than you typically see in a studio. We've got extra pillows and blankets, lots of hanging space. And here's also where you're going to find your safe, an iron, and then we've also got a luggage rack. Moving further down the hall, we've got our kitchenette. The kitchenettes at Copper Creek are one of my favorites because we've got this nice little, what I call a snack drawer, or at least that's what I would use it for. So a good amount of storage. We've also got our sink. And then one thing we noticed with the refurbishment is that they did upgrade the Keurig to the new Keurig Duo. We've got some additional storage up here where you'll find your toaster. And then we have a small microwave. Next to that, this villa does have paper products. And then under here, we've got our mini fridge. And then this mini fridge does not have a freezer, so just keep that in mind. One of the big things with the refurbishment at Copper Creek was the inclusion of the Murphy beds. However, with any resort, there may be rooms that do not have Murphy beds based on the wall placement, the roof pitch, and then in this case, the placement of the windows. So we're in a unique room layout and we've got some windows here. So instead of a new Murphy bed, we do have a brand new couch bed. We just filmed a room at Vero Beach this past weekend. That will probably be posted after this. So we've got to open this couch bed for you. Just show you, it's not as bad as you think. You know, it is brand new, so it's a lot better than the couch beds that you're probably used to from the older resorts, but you do have to remove all of the cushions front and back before you can grab it, but then it's super, super easy to pull out. So I've got to move the cushions out of the way. Basically, it gives you some instructions. You lift the handles and you walk straight back. Judging by the size of this room, I am going to tell you that it's going to be a little bit tight with the couch bed pulled out. But just like that, it is a real mattress, and it honestly is a similar thickness of the Murphy beds. Just showing you the space here when you have this pulled out, but because this is an alternative studio, this is just our living space, and we've got a separate little bedroom space. Paul's behind the camera, so he can't really offer to help me pull this back in, but just to show you how easy it is for one person, you just lift and walk in, and then it's spring loaded, so it kind of brings itself back. Lastly, for this couch bed, you will need to move the coffee table out of the way, but if you're using it as a couch and coffee table, then you do have the option to pull it up into a table, and then of course you've got some storage space underneath. Next to the pull-out couch, we've got an end table. This is where you're going to find your Hey Disney. And then as part of the soft goods refurb, we did have a replacement of all the curtains. This is one of my favorite curtains of any room. I just love the pine trees. And then we also have a new carpet here as part of the refurbishment. I wasn't going to point the lamp out because I thought you could see it, but Paul thought that it was worth mentioning that they could have had a plain lamp, and they don't. They have some nice design pattern that matches with the resort. Next to that, we've got our smart TV, and then below that we do have charging on both sides underneath of the TV, and then we have our dresser that has 6 drawers each. Now there is extra charging in this studio because it's alternative layout and it has additional space. Right across from the little living area of this alternative studio, we've got our bathroom, and it's definitely unique compared to most Copper Creek studios. So we do have the sink outside of the rest of the bathroom, but it's also in its own little area that can be closed off. We've got a nice amount of countertop space, mirror and lighting, and some storage. And then one thing that I noticed that's really cool is this is definitely a much larger bathroom because it's long versus, you know, a little box. It's got a lot of space, and then we have these giant drawers that match the countertops in the sink. I called these drawers, and they're really shelves, but you can see that. Next to that, we've got our tub shower combo. So as I said before, some studios at Copper Creek are just a walk-in shower, and some are a tub shower combo, and there is a separate booking category for each. So here we have a nice tub shower combo. You've got rainfall shower head, detachable shower head, and then you've got your toiletry pumps. And then this is where you get to the craziest part. And honestly, I don't even know where to start because this is just all your sleeping space in a studio. So as Paul pans around, we've got windows galore, we've got all sorts of furniture space. So let's talk about what's in this room. Starting with the bed, we've got a queen size bed, although they could have fit a king in here. We've got a nice headboard, and then it is platform, so you can slide some luggage underneath there. On both sides of the bed, we've got a lamp, and then you have a nightstand, and each nightstand has some built-in charging, as well as 3 pretty good sized drawers for storage. We also have a table and chair set in this bedroom space. Copper Creek is one of my favorite table and chairs because I just feel like it's very streamlined. It doesn't take up a lot of space, and yet it's not tiny, and it's got good sized chairs. And these chairs are also freshly upholstered. There's a smart TV across from the bed and this little wall alcove, and it's worth pointing out that this is 2 TVs in this alternative studio. So one in the little living space, one across from the bed. And then behind me here, we've got kind of a little bench, and then it also has some storage underneath. Also in this bedroom, we have another dresser. This is one of Paul's favorite DVC pieces of furniture. It is just so cute. And then also on top there, we have charging on both sides of the dresser. And then we always talk about how much we love this artwork, just that it has little nods to things like the Carrollwood Railway, Geyser, Copper Creek. Sturdy Branches is the name of the fitness center over at Boulder Ridge, Territory Lounge, you know, just little nods to the resort. Something really interesting about this studio that's rare is that it has 2 balconies. So this is the main balcony. It's off of the living space, and we've got a beautiful view of the main pool and Bay Lake with the boats going by. On your balcony here, you're going to have 2 chairs as well as a small table in between them. And then the other cool thing about this room, this alternative studio, is that we do have this second very small balcony. Paul calls this the timeout balcony, but not a whole lot out here. There's just some space to stand, but you do have such a cool view of the waterfall over there. That's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for joining. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the DVC Fan YouTube channel, join in the conversation in the DVC Fan Facebook group. For bonus content, sometimes we go live like we just did a little bit ago. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/DVC Fan. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at The DVC Show.